Interlaken is not the most beautiful place of Switzerland. I know this may sound very confusing and strange to you. However, I really think there are more beautiful places to visit in Switzerland. So make sure you watch this video to the end and then I'll explain you why. When people are talking about traveling to Switzerland, Interlaken may be among the very first places they mention. Now, Interlaken is world famous. It is a tourist hotspot. And in my opinion, it is overly hyped, and to be honest, with Swiss people, we just don't really get the excitement over it. Now, let me first talk about what's beautiful here in Interlaken. So from the town you get a great view over the famous mountain trio Eigermönch and Jungfrau. These are some of the world's most famous summits. There are also many great hotels, restaurants, shops, and in general the tourism industry here is very good. Things here are very convenient, and altogether that sounds like a great place to be at. Well, now I do not find Interlaken very beautiful, to be honest. Now let me tell you the truth why. So when you come to Interlaken center, you're going to see it's very busy. There are many cars around. You always need to watch out, and this makes it not very quiet and serene for you to visit. I do have to say, if you visit other places in Switzerland, you don't have so much motorized traffic, so it makes it really hard for Interlaken to compete with those villages that I consider being more beautiful than this place here. So I'm not saying that I'm against cars, I just feel when there are a lot of vehicles all around, it does steal a little bit of the magic. It's not going to be very serene. And if you visit, for example, villages in the Alps, they are definitely a lot more quiet, and this makes it really more magical here in Switzerland than being here in Interlaken. Interlaken has optimized itself to accommodate tourists the best way. This being said, you can see there are various international restaurants, Chinese, Arabian, Indian food, and this is definitely great for people who are not really eager to try out local food. But I do have to say, it steals a little bit the authenticity. Interlaken is very commercialized when it comes to that, and Swiss cuisine, well, it's kind of like being pushed a little bit aside. There are other places in Switzerland, for example like Zermatt, that are very touristy too. However, they do have more of a Swiss vibe. So this is lacking a little bit here in Interlaken. But of course, for a Swiss person like me, it's cool because here I have the opportunity to try various international cuisines. But let's say if I was somewhere in a quiet village up in the Alps, well then I would be expecting to rather get Swiss food. And as we're talking about Interlaken being very commercialized, all the shops here that you see, they're basically for tourists. You can find many souvenirs, you can buy Swiss watches, there are many shops with Swiss chocolates and so on. Perfect for tourists, but this is just not the reality in Switzerland. So if you visit any kind of normal city or village in Switzerland, you will definitely not be so much optimized for tourists. Here in Interlaken, if you're looking to be among many locals, well, here you're actually going to be primarily among tourists. It's not peak season yet, so it's not very busy, but if you come here during summer like July and August, there's going to be loads of tourists here. And yeah, you'll be basically just among other fellow travelers. Myself, I'm Swiss, but clearly here I'm a minority. So you're basically going to be like in your tourist bubble. Now, if you want to be among locals and have a very authentic Swiss experience, well, that one you won't really find it here. For that you will have to go somewhere else. Interlaken, I do have to be honest, the center, it's okay. It's not extremely beautiful, it's just nice, but it's just very modern. Now here, of course, once in a while you see some beautiful historic hotels. This one here is the Victoria Jungfrau, and around here you have a big grass field. You may wonder why is that actually wide open. Well, here you'll see many of the paragliders. They're going to land here. For that they definitely need enough space, otherwise there might be accidents, they might hit trees or buildings. Not so here, and it's really interesting to watch people how they're landing. First they come down quite fast and then they slow down, and then after that they just run a bit, and that's it. I've never tried paragliding, but maybe one day I will. It's really fascinating. And here in Interlaken and the entire region you can see so many of them. And since we're at this point, Interlaken is not even very beautiful when it comes to an architectural point of view. Yeah, Interlaken, it is not very beautiful, it's nice, but definitely it won't be able to compete with the nicest villages in Switzerland. Even if you look at my drone footage, you can already see that Interlaken is not very special. There are not many old buildings around, and if they are, well then they're just scattered all over the place instead of being close by. And I feel, yeah, this makes Interlaken more to an urban center, being modern but not really beautiful traditional old village. Now influencers, they will always praise Interlaken being very beautiful, showing you this part here, but strictly speaking, here we are already in Unterseen, so this is a different municipality. Of course, basically both towns, they have grown together, but we have to be frank, Unterseen, it is already different, it's more quiet, and the village feeling in here is definitely more present. Yet, although it is nicer, in Unterseen, there are still better places to be visited in Switzerland. Now the question, should you stay here in Interlaken or not? Before I'm going to answer that, I'm actually curious, what do you think about some of my points? Are you still convinced that Interlaken is the most beautiful place here in Switzerland? Well, please let me know down in the comments. So now the answer, you should definitely stay in Interlaken. Not because it's very beautiful, but simply because of its convenience. It is perfectly located within the Bernese Oberland, between the lakes, and all the interesting places you can visit in this region, they're easily to be reached from Interlaken. Around Lake Brienz you have waterfalls, you have a great village, even summits to be visited. If you will go to Lake Thun, then you can visit some of the castles. The city of Thun is also very nice. Then you have the Lauterbrunnen Valley, and so on. So many great things to visit, and all of these you can easily get to from Interlaken. So in Interlaken itself you also have some beautiful corners, but if you're really chasing true beauty, make your way out and then come back to spend your night here. Interlaken is also a great place to watch sunsets. You can see the mountain trio Eigermönch and Jungfrau. It's very beautiful during the second half of August. And then also you can visit places like the Harder Kulm. So great to come here. But now the most beautiful village of Switzerland, that one is shown in this video. So I'm going to see you over there.